life accumulate and determine what we think of at the time of death. For example, if we're cultivating piano playing, or we like to play chess, or we're a long-distance runner, or we like swimming or surfing, or whatever it may be, these leave impressions in our mind. Everything we do leaves an impression in the mind. So at the time of death, all of your attachments accumulate and present a prominent or major image within your mind, and that determines what form of life you get in your next body. Since we are eternal and indestructible beings, and we are totally non-physical, when the body dies, we have to go somewhere. And where we go, it depends on what we're attached to at the time of death. Krishna describes in the 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So during our life, we're cultivating various attachments. That is actually determining what our next physical body will be. Or, if we have developed pure love for Krishna, by cultivation of this throughout our lives, at the time of death, we'll think of Krishna, and then we immediately regain our superhuman transcendental form. We don't have to reside in physical bodies anymore. And we can return to the transcendental environment, which is saturated and permeated with unlimited spiritual ecstasy at every moment. In the transcendental world, there are no dull or inanimate objects. In this world, we see wood, we see steel, plastic. These are made of a hierarchy of impersonal or insentient material elements. Whereas in the transcendental world, there are forms, such as trees and grass and rivers, mountains, human beings, cows, various animals, but none of these forms are made up of something less fundamental than themselves. Each such form is itself an immutable, entirely transcendental and fundamental existence, analogous to the fundamental particles of modern physics. In physics, the goal is to explain everything in terms of fundamental, by that they mean immutable particles, for example quarks. What was a fundamental particle in the past may no longer be a fundamental particle now due to further research. So it's arguable that they will never reach an entire description in terms of fundamental particles, because each such structure has been found to be composed of other things that are still more fundamental than itself. But the goal is there. This actually reflects our original nature, our original consciousness, is to seek that which is immutable. All of us are actually seeking a position in which we can enjoy without any mixture of difficulty or suffering. That is, of course, not possible in the material world, but because we all have an internal memory, or a subliminal, subconscious memory of our transcendental nature and the environment of the transcendental world, we're all seeking that position, immutable position where nothing breaks down or gets old. The sadhana bhakti process actually allows us to regain this position. And when we do so, we will reside in our original transcendental forms, in which we can enjoy loving relationships with each other and with Krishna, in an entire environment where there's no disease, no old age, where all the forms are immutable and nothing breaks down. So this is the fruit of the Bhakti Yoga process. This is what Krishna describes in Bhagavad Gita. And Srimad Bhagavatam elaborates in great detail what is actually going on in this transcendental level of existence. In the 3rd canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 15, a very detailed description of this transcendental region of existence is described. And there it said that the entire environment is saturated and permeated with incredible spiritual ecstasy. Everyone is just absorbed, moment after moment, in ever-increasing nectarian, ecstatic love of God. In fact, it's so intense that it seems impossible that it could increase, but still it keeps increasing. This is one of the paradoxical and inconceivable aspects of the transcendental realm, is that the pleasure seems to have no room for further expansion. It's already unlimited. It's so great that everyone is fainting in ecstasy and overwhelmed in ecstasy at every moment. But still it increases. And this ecstasy is not stereotyped. It's not the same. It comes in many different forms. It has many different varieties. There are different kinds of emotions in the transcendental environment, which are described in great detail in the Srimad Bhagavatam, and also in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, another one of our scriptures by Srila Rupa Goswami. There it's described in so many different ways, all the different kinds of loving relationships one can have with Krishna in the transcendental world. Krishna, being the supreme controller of everything in all of existence, exists simultaneously everywhere. Krishna has the capacity to attend to innumerable situations simultaneously without becoming bewildered. We would have difficulty conversing coherently with 20 people at once. You could sit in a room with a bunch of friends and you're sitting in the center of a circle of 20 people and they all start talking to you. So you would have great difficulty carrying on a coherent conversation with 20 people at once. But Krishna is fundamentally different from us. Although we're all, you and I, all living entities, and Krishna are all transcendental, immutable, superior beings, still there's a fundamental distinction between us as individual units of consciousness, individual quanta of consciousness, called Jivatma, and Krishna, who is the Param Atma, or the supreme conscious entity. One of these fundamental distinctions is that Krishna can place his attention effortlessly on innumerable situations, all at the same time, without becoming bewildered, and can attend expertly to all of them. In fact, if we analyze the process of sense perception, willed action, we can understand how Krishna is involved, even in seemingly ordinary, mundane affairs of life. Krishna is present in every aspect of reality, helping us individual souls at every moment.